You know, when you wake up in the morning, you never exactly know what your day is going to hold until you find out what the weather's doing. The forecast isn't always accurate. Today's forecast was a little iffy, and it turned out to be just periods of monsoon rain and periods of overcast. So you look around me, there's people walking around now because we're in between rain, but there's hundreds and thousands of little kids that are just crying to go out into the pool, and the parents are saying, no dice, not going out to the pool. I'm not sitting there and watching you while I get drenched and cold. There's nothing worse than downed expectations. There's nothing worse than saying, oh man, I had hoped for a gorgeous day. I'd hoped to enjoy the great outdoors, and now I'm stuck inside. Relationships are a lot like that. When I help couples prepare to get married, one of the things I try to do, quite honestly, is to break down their expectations. Many people come into marriage, whether it's a first marriage or especially a second marriage, with an arrogance, an overconfidence, a love-struck naivete that represents rose-colored goggles of what they just don't believe is possible this time and in this relationship. And so when the fit hits the shan, so to speak, in their relationship, when they come to those dark nights of the soul, they're totally thrown off and assume they married the wrong person, simply because they were not prepared for the inevitable reality of long-term relationships. Expectations can be a nasty thing. And the only way that we can learn to not have expectations that are too high is experience. The Apostle Paul is writing to the Philippians in Philippians chapter 4. He's trying to help them think about things that are positive, not to focus on the negative, to focus on things that are good and right, even on rainy days in our relationships, and praiseworthy and excellent. There's always those things. And then he goes on to give a little bit of a clue of why you can think that way. He says, I've learned the secret of being content, having plenty. I've learned the secret of being content, having very little. And the secret is that I've learned that I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. So whether it's a rainy day or a bright day in your relationships or in your life, have you learned yet that you can do it? That you can get by without maybe what you thought you needed, without maybe your ideals being met, without the warm feelings still there? Or have you yet to learn that you can get by with just Jesus alone? And that the unfair expectations you have of yourself, your body, your looks, your partner, your relationships just aren't necessary to joy. In fact, they could sometimes impede that joy. You can do all things through Christ who gives you strength. And that means your relationships will actually be happier when you focus on Jesus and not on the other person meeting your expectations and standards. You can do all things in your relationships through Christ who strengthens you. And that is an important word on a rainy day.